As I mentioned in the movie, the camera zooms in on the crossroad, then the scene switches to a shop that grills sausages or something. Then it shows Pazu buying stew in a store. This is the area I mentioned earlier. I'd like you to notice that all the stores are open, even though it's nighttime. It's not that Pazu goes to the store early in the night. It's actually pretty late at night. And that's because, as it applies to all over the world, people work 24 hours on a 3-shift basis in the mine. Therefore, various stores in mining towns are always open for 24 hours. Whether it's a bookstore, a toy store, a restaurant or a bar, a movie theater, a cabaret, or a coffee shop, every store is open for 24 hours a day. So it's always a lively town like this. Pazu runs through this lively town, but if you look closely, there's someone sleeping. You might think this scene is atypical of Hayao Miyazaki style, but that's not the case here. Because this kind of thing never happens in a mining town with a good economy. For example, if you watch a film on Gunkanjima, stores there were open 24 hours a day. The monthly salary of college graduates at this time was roughly 3,000 yen to 5,000 yen. But coal miners were paid about 80,000 yen a month. So they wouldn't fall asleep in the street like this. Miners were very energetic, and if they saw someone passed out in the street, they would carry that person to the next bar and treat them to a drink. This was when the mining economy was booming. The town of the Slag Ravine was once flourishing like this, and 24-hour stores were increasing. But we can see that's not the case in this scene. Pazu happens to witness a girl falling from the sky, and he runs for help. Pazu runs to rescue her. The girl is falling into the mine hole, and Pazu screams, "Whoa, what's going on?" It may seem like he's running to the opposite side, but he's actually trying to go around to pass through this huge pulley and catch her. Now the hole in this mine is unusually large, maybe about 50 meters in diameter, and the bottom of this 50-meter wide hole, where the depth is more than 50 meters deep, there's an elevator, a simple elevator which descends about 800 meters. The speed of this elevator is close to free falling. You're floating in the air until you reach the bottom. If you see interviews of coal miners, they were so scared by the speed that they grasped the handrails until their hands turned white. Miners bore the fear and descended to the bottom. This huge pulley in the middle is the hoist for the elevator. Pazu was told by his boss to control it. When a bell rings, his boss says, "Pazu, give it a try." "Really?" "Just be careful." Just like that, the lever that Pazu is grasping controls the pulley, which is powered by a steam engine. It's roughly 800 meters deep and only takes about 10 or 20 seconds, so it's faster than a high-speed elevator at Skytree. If you make an error with the timing of the brake, everyone will immediately die. Even in the records of the coal mine, at the time, it was common for people to die due to mistakes when operating an elevator, so Pazu is very nervous, since his boss has his hands full and he thinks Pazu can handle it. As soon as the miners come up in the elevator, they show a sample of their excavation to the geologist. This old man isn't a coal miner. Well, he's dressed like one. But he's looking at the ore with a magnifying glass, so he's a geologist. He's looking at the sample and sees a pattern between the stones, but he can't find silver or tin. Not even tin can be seen. That means the miners came up empty. So the boss feels really disappointed and he releases the steam from the kiln. When the boss pulls this lever, steam escapes from this kiln like whoosh. It might be hard to understand if you've never been involved with this kind of work, but when you remove the steam, the pressure of the kiln goes down instantly. At this point, a machine that runs on a steam engine will no longer work. It would take about an hour for steam to rise again in the kiln. In the novel version, Pazu wakes up early and sets a fire in the kiln. Then he cleans the floor until he's soaked with sweat. When he wrings his shirt, sweat falls like a waterfall. Only then does the temperature of the kiln finally start to rise. That's how precious and valuable steam is. It takes a lot of burning coal to store steam in a huge boiler, so everyone was hoping to find silver, copper, or at least tin from the new pit of the coal mine by working even through the night. The boss even has Pazu buy dinner for the miners, but it turns out to be all for nothing. The boss gives up for the night and releases the steam from the kiln. This is a scene where you can see the boss's despair. He's bummed out. What is the steam from the steam engine used for? As you saw earlier, it's partially used to move the giant pulley and run the elevator. But this is just one function where it's more convenient to have steam than not. So what is the steam from the steam engine mainly used for? A steam engine isn't just for moving a train, nor moving a ship. The steam of the steam engine is meant to be used to manage the spring water that gushes from the bottom of mine tunnels. The deeper you get into the ground, the more water that needs to be brought out of the mine. It wasn't James Watt who invented the steam engine, but Thomas Newcomen. Newcomen invented the steam engine in order to drain the water out of mines. Working in a mine is a constant battle against pit water, so it was invented for the purpose of drawing water out of it. When the depth of a coal mine surpasses 15 meters, spring water becomes the biggest problem. The shallow part of the ground can be excavated in no time. But before the Industrial Revolution, the depth of coal mines exceeded 50 meters, reaching up to 100 meters. At that point, let's see. Well, in the beginning, miners remove water with their hands, like drawing water from a well. But their efforts weren't enough. Speaking of Newcomen, I thought he was a priest or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's put that aside. That's when the steam engine was invented. It was such a convenient invention for pumping spring waters from mines. So it quickly became popular in mines around the world. The steam engine and the elevator with a large pulley, as I showed earlier, have become something like symbols of coal mines all over Europe. Well, when all these facilities were installed, in other words, this huge pulley elevator and steam engine, this marked the golden age of the slag ravine.